Welcome to FitBody Lifestyle, the show where we dive deep into the world of fitness, health, business, relationships, and the art of living a balanced life. I'm Jamie.
And I'm Greg, and we're here to give you the benefit of our experiences in the fitness and bodybuilding industry, the corporate world, running a business, personal development, and building healthy relationships.
Whether you're sweating it out in the gym, hustling in your business, or seeking balance in your everyday life, you're in the right place.
So lace up those sneakers and grab that water bottle, and let's get ready to transform our minds, our bodies, and our lives.
Good day and welcome back to FitBody Lifestyle and our fusion hack for this New Year's week. We are so excited to be kicking off our new year and giving you some tips to get it started right. Our episode, the beginning of the week was SMART goals, and now we're going to talk about SMART goals simplified.
Yes, and for that, we're going to give you another acronym, which is GROW, which I kind of like for when you think of goals, the goals are to grow. So it just kind of, I love that name or that acronym, and it stands for goals, reality, options, and the will. And we'll kind of break those down really quick. So the goal piece is very similar to goals and SMART objectives, which we talked about, or which is just simply you've got to identify what you want and why you want it. And we talked a little bit about this, but it's simply just going in, we talked about it more in depth, but this is really getting to the core of what it is that you want to achieve and why it's important to you to achieve that. What will you have when you get that? What does success look like? Why is that goal important to you?
Yeah, I think that's perfect. And I know, we went, really deep into this. If you didn't see the episode about setting goals, you can definitely go in and do that. And, just kind of briefly, I think you said it perfectly. I mean, it's really about, what are we looking to achieve? And then truly understanding the why behind it. And I love that you added, what is it going to look like once I achieve it? How do we know we got there if we don't have a clear vision of what here looks like?
Right. And there's another component of that, which is, so if you get this goal, how is your life going to change? What is going to be better? What is going to be different in your life if you achieve this goal? And that ties in with the why, but it really is a thought practice of going into really bearing down. So if, say, for example, hey, I want a Maserati. Okay. That's my goal. My goal is to get a Maserati. Well, why do I want that? Well, maybe I want that because it's
cool.
It's cool, right? It's something that says status. It's something that
it'll be fun to drive.
I saw somebody in my neighborhood driving it around when I was a kid, and it always impressed me. And I just have these fond memories of why that's important to me.
And there's a song about it.
The's a song about it, right? What is that? My Maserati does 185. Okay, that's a blast from the past. I forgot about that. But then you go with that next deeper level in your thought exercise on this and say, okay, so what will it mean to me if I get this? How am I going to be happier? How will I be more fulfilled? How will I be more satisfied? Or, well, when I get a Maserati, man, I'm going to want a Lamborghini, or I'm going to want, a Rolls Royce or something. I mean, what will I feel like if I achieve this goal? Thinking about that in terms of your I want and the why you want it is really kind of a fundamental piece to recognizing, am I setting the right goal for myself? Is this something that's reasonable? Is this something achievable? Is this something that I really, really want, that really motivates me? It's something that comes from what there's two different kinds of motivation. There's intrinsic motivation, meaning what you feel inside, and there's extrinsic motivation, which is the rewards and the accolades and the attention that you get from outside of yourself. So is that Maserati something that's more of an intrinsic motivator, or is it an extrinsic motivator? And if it's an intrinsic motivator, those are usually the better and more powerful ones. If it's the extrinsic ones, those can be a little bit shallow and short-lived. So just something to go through in your thought process.
Right. I mean, the only thing I wanted to add is, as you go through that process, you might decide that actually isn't the goal after all.
That's
and that's
right.
okay too. I mean, that's what this process is all about, is really figuring out, is what I think I want what I actually want.
Right.
And it's okay to realize that, that was not really, that actually isn't going to give me the kind of fulfillment I was looking for. So that's okay. That's okay. That's part of the process.
And I think, if you haven't gotten this from either the full episode or from this one, The value in the goal setting is really in the process. When you invest in the processes, the analogy I would make here is we've talked about bodybuilding, and the people that really invest themselves in their off-season improvement season, those are the people that really become champions because they are embracing the process. And goal setting is no different. When you embrace the process of goal setting, you may find a completely different set of goals than what you thought you were originally going to have, because you've really engaged in the thought. You've peeled back the onions of yourself, or the onion of yourself, and to figure out what is it really that's motivating you and what do I want. And I really want you to focus on that intrinsic motivation. What is motivating you inside of yourself to want to do that?
So once I do that, what is the O?
Well, we haven't even gotten to the R. So you were going to GOW instead of GROW. It's the GROW model, honey, not the GOW model. But the GOW model does sound fun.
Man. I want to get to the end.
You want to get. So let's just talk about the R, and the R is the reality of the goal. And this is where, if you want to combine, as we talked about SMART objectives, this is the reasonable, this is achievable thing kind of wrapped up into the R of the reality. The reality is, okay, if I make $35,000 a year, the reality of a Maserati may not be a reality for me if that's my goal. But something else may be. Maybe I can get a used Maserati, or one that's 15 years old that I have to fix up, and maybe that's okay for my goal. But you've got to have some reality in these goals. And to that, I give you my one of my all-time favorite quotes from the Buddha, which is, stress occurs in the gap between your reality and your expectations. The greater the gap, the greater the stress. So expect nothing and accept everything. And I find great comfort in that, because I do find that it's very easy, especially in the day of in the age of social media and all the influences that we get every day, and the wealth that just is so in your face with people. It's so easy to get caught up in a goal that's not your reality. Making sure the goal is realistic for you, is reasonable, is achievable for you, is the key to fulfillment. And the opposite is the key to disappointment.
Absolutely. I mean, as you're talking about this, what comes to mind for me is how many times I'll do a consult with somebody who's never stepped foot on stage, and they're like, I want to go to the Olympia.
Yep.
So to say, I mean, that might be an overriding goal, but they, if I'm setting a goal for this year and I've never stepped foot on the stage, that's not that's not reality. So right. I need to think about the steps, and, again, it's okay to have, reach goals. And I mean, I know when everybody was reading the what was the book that, you envision?
The Secret?
The Secret.
Yeah.
Then you would envision the Maserati and the mansion and the thing. And I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with having like dreams and like big goals and vision boards and all the things that you want to do. And we're talking about, setting, reasonable goals over a reasonable timeline that are achievable, so that you can build on that. Because I feel like sometimes you make these overreaching goals that, like you said, are so high, and then disappointment sets in, and a lot of times people just want to give up completely.
Right.
So what we want to do is create momentum. So making
That's right.
Making sure that reality is infused into what those goals are is really important.
And momentum and habits. So again, you're not going to get to the Olympia if you don't have the habits in place to get to that success. And so when we're talking about the GROW model or the G-SMART model, this is about fine. How the goal is the Olympia. That's great. But now let's talk about those interim goals and those interim objectives that you really need to accomplish. So, hey, look, I need to get on a sufficient workout program. I need to learn how to track my food. What are the steps along the way that you need to focus on to then build that discipline to ultimately get to that level? I love the vision board. I love having, hey, if you had Olympia on your mirror every day, and that's overriding it, but right below that should be all the steps that you're going to take to get there. Hey, I'm going to work out. I'm going to track my food. I'm going to, live. I'm going to get my sleep and recovery. All those things that you're going to do to get to that. So reality is a really key piece to making sure that you're doing the right things. And as we've talked about before, when you're making these realistic goals, it doesn't mean that you can't pivot to a different goal. It doesn't mean that you can't adjust that goal. It just means that that's what you're doing right here and right now. And that's the vision that you're setting. And then you adjust as you need to.
And of course, we talked about this a lot on the longer episode. You know, if what comes to my mind is I want to be an Olympian and I've never stepped foot on stage, you know, that's where digging into that why. Why do I want to become what's it going to feel like? What's it going to look like? Why do I? And then that might help to build in some of those, you know, more realistic, shorter term goals so that then you've got some things to build on and work on.
Very well said. Very well said.
Do I get to go to the O now?
You get to go to the O, not the Olympia, but the O for the O and grow.
Good one.
O and grow,
yes.
Which is options. And options is a great thought process, a great thought exercise for as you're using the grow model, and it really can encompass both options, obstacles, and opportunities. So options could be, okay, let's use I do not like the Maserati example. So, but since I introduced it, I guess we're going to stick with that. So let's use the Maserati example for this grow model. So the Maserati is my goal. Is it reality? Let's say it's a reality for me. It's something I could do. But then what are the options for that? So the options might be, hey, I don't get a 2024, I get a 2022 or a 2021. What are the obstacles for that? Well, how's my credit? What are my finances like? Is it something that's going to bankrupt me? But hey, I got that goal. What are those obstacles, and what are the opportunities? Well, you know, the real reason I want a Maserati is for status, but man, this Lexus is looking really good. It's much more reliable. It's at a better price point. It's got all these other things. So it's going to hold its value more. So what are those options? And that
no
really,
offense, Maserati.
Yeah, that really is. And as we're talking about this, I mean, let's face it. As I'm talking about options and opportunities and obstacles, these are things that influence your goal setting. So this is part of going through that feedback loop of as you're going through the G, the R, the O, and then the W. What do I need to go back and refine any one part of that? So
all right. So W, give us the W. This is our fusion hack. So this is a quick one.
The W is I will, and that's simply putting it to writing, what you will do to meet that goal. And we talked about this a little bit, which is the put it somewhere where you can see it. But really forming those I will statements is so important. It's not that you can do something. It's not that you have the ability to do something. It's really what will you do on that day. Writing those I wills is so important for you to then accomplish that goal because it sets the intention for what your actions are going to be.
Right. I love that. I mean, I think that's one of the most important pieces is being focused on, you know, what are you going to do each and every day that's going to move you towards that goal. And it needs to go back to our original Monday episode. If you didn't see that yet, you know, make sure that it's, you know, it's something that you can measure and track and, you know, and, you know, make sure that you're on point with that it's realistic and all of these. Yeah,
and using the Maserati, I will. Hey, I will get overtime at work as often as I can to build up some extra money. I will put $100 a week away in my savings to make sure that I'm saving for it. I will cut out Starbucks 5 days a week. I'm only going to go 3 days a week. I will. The I will is not just a one thing. It can be several things that you will do. These are the habits that are ultimately going to produce your goal.
Yeah, I actually like that example.
Okay, grow. Okay. All right. Grow, goal, goal, reality, options, and will. So that's what grow stands for. All right. Were we done?
I think we're done. Okay. And we're hoping that you all have lots of success in coming up with your resolutions and goals for the new year. Like, comment, subscribe, leave your review, and remember the 3 B's, which is be good to yourself. Be good to each other.
And be safe. Take care, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in to FitBody Lifestyle. We hope today's episode has left you feeling motivated and equipped to tackle your fitness goals, business challenges, and the daily dance of life. Remember to value progress over perfection. Life's tough enough alone. Find the chosen family around you to help you along the way.
If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite streaming platform. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at FitBody Fusion.